The Society of Actuaries Research Institute released a report that highlights further refinements to our mortality improvement model, also known as MIM, M-I-M. When the MIM model was originally released in April of 2021, we knew further enhancements were planned, and we made some first updates to that model in October of 2021. And now this current report highlights even further enhancements to the model. Renora, what's in the purpose, or what are some of the highlights of this new release of MIM 2021?
Well, with this release, which is version 3, the MIM advisory group wanted to address user feedback, and especially around the complexity of the application tool. And then the second issue that they wanted to address was COVID-19. With our application tool, we've enhanced it to include more functionality around adjusting mortality for COVID-19. The last big change with the model for this year is that our application tool contains committee-selected assumptions for life and annuity practitioners.
No, helpful. Patrick, it's been really great to see us evolve and work with this model. Perhaps you can lead us visually through some of these latest enhancements with this release.
Thanks, Dale. I'll go ahead and give a quick overview of the new version of MIM. For those that have used MIM before, it's going to look very familiar. The basic structure is very similar, but we've reorganized the interface so that it's a bit of a smoother ride when you're using the model. And we've also added a schematic that provides an overview of the model's interface and how to work your way through that interface. So I'll share the schematic now. And the schematic, you'll see on the left, step 1. This is a step that allows a user either to load a predefined or pre-selected set of assumptions, or to clear all assumptions so that you're working with a blank slate, in which case your intention is to fill in all the assumptions yourself. We've then, in this interface, the new version, we've tried to make it very clear what parameters are required and what are optional. So steps 2 through 4C involve required parameters. These are essential for producing output. And steps 5 and 6 are optional. These steps provide additional flexibility, either to model a mortality shock, such as COVID, or to enter one's own mortality base table. Step 7 is the final step. It comes after you've set all the other parameters, and you use step 7 to produce the output, and then you have the ability to review the output either in tabular or graphical form. Let's go ahead now and look at the interface itself. The font will be a little small. I've reduced it in size just so that you can see more of the interface at one time. Just like the last version of MIM, the steps are organized from left to right. So you start on the left with step 1, and you move horizontally step by step until you arrive at the final step, step 7, and then you run the model and produce output. Let's just do one simulation here. I'm going to load the new assumption set, the life and individual annuity assumption set. I do that by selecting option 3. I push the button. The parameters load, and a user can then review all of the parameters. And they can make changes if they wish. So this assumption set it's intended as a starting point. A user can then review the assumptions and make any changes that they want to make. Let's go ahead. Let's jump to the finish line. We will run the simulation. These are the results in tabular form. And then you can also, just like the last version of MIM, you can plot the results on a heat map. and we can also plot the results on a graph, and it's a dynamic graph. It shows the evolution of improvement rates across time. For more information, we have an updated user guide that you can find on the website. And now I'm going to hand things back to Dale.
Thanks, Patrick. And those of you watching, if you have any feedback or questions about this particular report, please contact us at research@soa.org. This report can be found on the SOA website at soa.org. Click on the Research Institute and then look for it under our mortality and longevity research. Thanks for joining us today to learn a little bit more about the projects from the Society of Actuaries Research Institute.